Alison, how are you? It's good to have you on the show. It's good to talk all things Google Business Profile, and especially when it's mixed with AI, because it's a red hot topic for the last 6 to 12 months, especially now with everything being AI. Everyone's doing everything with AI. I feel like if you're not into AI in one way, shape, or form, you are definitely missing out. And today, what are we covering with the profile and with ChatGPT? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, there's a new feature just released probably 2 days ago or so at the beginning of April 2026. Now, I just want to point out to local business owners that it's not Google Business Profile versus ChatGPT. They're alongside each other, and then you have to think of them as complementary, and you have to do both. But we will look at ChatGPT at the moment because they've released this new feature, which is called precise location.
Wow.
And it's all about, obviously, local. And I don't know whether you've had a try in ChatGPT, Jose, to search for local. It's been fairly bad. ChatGPT, local means a city, a region, a state. I've even done local searches, and they've given me something in Sydney, which is 800 kilometres away. So it's hasn't been great. It knows you're in Melbourne, but that's all.
Yeah.
However, now ChatGPT has allowed you to actually put in what's called precise location. This is off by default. So you have to go into your profile, your settings, data control, and switch it on. And what it does, it gives ChatGPT your GPS location of your device.
Holy moly, that sounds scary in itself.
Well, yes, it is, but we share it all with Google and everything. I don't know. I mean, ChatGPT does say that it deletes this precise location after the chat.
Yeah.
The answers, though, is kept in the memory. Okay, so take that as you will.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's people that are so conscious about, privacy and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I guess, we give up away our privacy so easily, when it comes to Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So, when we talk about this kind of stuff, it's, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know. It's a very, some people are very conscious about that.
Yeah. And then you would probably keep the precise location, the GPS of your device off then, and you'll never perhaps enable it, but be aware that any searches in ChatGPT as far as local is concerned is not precise.
Yeah.
Because there's actually 2 layers of location now.
Yeah.
There's the general location, which is, as we said, is regional. And then there's this precise one, which is the GPS device.
Yeah.
But that is optional, and you actually have to go and figure it out.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT does say it does delete this GPS location of your device after the chat.
Yeah. I know when Google asks you if you want to use your current location, I always say yes without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. You're using Google Maps to navigate and drive and things like that. So, I don't know. So if you want to do a local search, though, if you really want to do a local search in ChatGPT, you have to switch on this precise location, or else you will not get any accuracy as far as local is concerned. And I presume you could always switch it off again after you have the chat if you don't want it enabled all the time.
Yeah.
But it is a new feature and just released, and it's obviously targeting local searches.
Wow.
So it is quite a big one.
That says a lot, doesn't it? If ChatGPT are adding, better local searches, I mean, what does it mean for a business?
Well, it's quite interesting in a way. I mean, obviously ChatGPT hasn't got all the data of the Google Business Profile ecosystem that Google has got, which is incredibly accurate. So for business owners, what ChatGPT does have, if people are putting on their precise location, enabling it for their local searches. As we've discussed before, it fans out and finds information about your business across various platforms.
Yeah.
So we get back to the age-old data we've been talking about. You need that information accurate across everything. So your business hours, all those sort of, business details. And because if they're not aligned on different platforms, your website says one thing, your Facebook, your Google business profile, all this sort of thing says all different information. Well, the AI will just pass you by as a business, as an answer, and we'll get to data that is all aligned and says the same thing. The interesting thing, though, is that when I've been trying this out, ChatGPT, obviously in conversational mode, can create answers that are more aligned with, intentional, like I'm trying to explain, like if you're looking for a vibe of a place.
Yeah.
ChatGPT seems to be able to read those other type of information, which isn't hard data. They're either reading the images or reviews or something like that. So when you put with precise location enabled, and I was doing searches for long conversational searches, like looking for a cafe where I can have a computer and do some work quietly and still have a good coffee.
Mm.
That's the type of conversation you can have. And I noticed that what ChatGPT surfaced wasn't necessarily the closest, but it read into what I wanted, which was a quiet place to work.
Yeah.
And so this is the AI, coming into play. And so what the answer was more about these co-working spaces, these restaurants, these cafes, the word mention, good places to work, and also good coffee, and within so many drive to you and things like that. So Google search doesn't really provide that type of answer.
Yeah.
So you would have to dig really deep into Google search and Google business profile to find that, that subtle answer to a vibe. I'm trying to think of what do you call it? Sort of, it's details which AI can read into. It when you're doing ChatGPT and does the follow-up questions and all that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It catches on to an intent or what you're trying to mean.
Yeah.
And the search seems to be able to provide those type of answers, which is
so big competition for Google.
Yes, because Google's AI mode doesn't quite do that. And and what it is servicing, what it provides as an answer is totally different again for the same type of search.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But the fact that ChatGPT has got this feature means that it's looking at local search.
Jeez, it's scary where ChatGPT is moving. It's like slowly trying to replicate Google.
Yeah, and then in a more subtle way, as I said, it's sort of pulling up things like atmosphere and this would be good for you, or is this what you're looking for? And
So
when I was pardon?
So conversational. It's
yes.
It tries to extract as much information from you.
Yep.
As much as you put into ChatGPT.
And I mean, I could imagine, if you're looking, you'd start putting in for local precise searches, details like, looking for cafes with Wi-Fi or something like that. So that means you've got to have this detail mentioned somewhere.
Yeah. it's like, people who want really fast service. And, if you're a business that's known for fast service, quick turnaround times, and your reviews always say that, then when people, for example, we're working with a printer, people are always looking for fast turnaround, reliable, and all of these kind of details when it comes to a printer. So talking to ChatGPT, if you don't have these reviews that mention that, if you don't have posts on your Google Business Profile that mention that, if you don't have case studies or something like that on your website that mention that you have a fast turnaround time and all this stuff, then you're not going to be shown on ChatGPT or AI mode. So
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. And that's why I think we mentioned in a couple of podcasts that I know it's hard for local business to get reviews, but the best reviews now are the ones that are mentioning these words.
yeah,
Just 5 stars and thanks for a great job. I mean, that's such a waste of a 5-star review, because you want them to mention your attributes
yes,
or your services or your features or your options
yes.
about your business.
And before it was like you got to add your keywords into the review responses and stuff like that. Now it's more like what you just said, the attributes of a business
Yeah.
is just as important as keywords in a blog article.
That's right. And I don't know whether it picks up on your replies to reviews when you put that sort of thing into the reply. I mean, as a business owner, I would definitely try to do that. If I just got a 5-star review which didn't say much, I would put in the reply, thank you that we could provide fast turnaround for all your printing supplies or whatever, your bulk orders or whatever it is. I would put those words in the reply. And I don't know whether AI picks up the replies as well as the actual review content itself, and then putting that on the website, and as you say, posts everything, so that when people are now putting on precise location and doing local searches in ChatGPT, and whether ChatGPT keeps that as a default off at this point in time or may reverse it, and it may be default on, and you may have to go in there and enable it to be off it further down the track. So if that's the case, if it ends up being default on, that means the local searches in ChatGPT will be accurate and more precise than what they've ever been before, which has been pretty bad. So, and this will make a big difference. And so, yeah, your attributes, your data has to be everywhere. So the answer can be you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's exactly what we keep on discussing. If anyone is new here, we talk about, your attributes. We talk about, posting about your business so many times over different platforms. And AI is evolving so quickly, even with this ChatGPT update. It's going to be more and more important to, mention your attributes, talk about your attributes in a reel or in a video and post it to your Google Business Profile.
Yep, absolutely. Because I mean, your Google Business Profile has that option to put in, have you got on-street parking? Have you got Wi-Fi? Do you accept credit cards? Do you have al fresco? All that type of thing. ChatGPT hasn't got access necessarily to the attributes of Google Business Profile, which is sort of in the back end of it. So you've got to put that on your website. You've got to put that on your Google Business Profile post, which it probably can scrape. And you've got to put that on your Facebook and everything, all those things about your business. So we used to rely on the Google Business Profile, providing all that detail and all that data, which it does, obviously, for Google search. But for AI, which is conversational, and it's that fan out query where it goes across all different platforms, and for a really long query, it chunks it down to small sections and tries to find the answer, then provides a conversation back to you. So yes, put it all on your website. And we do the feedback from the ChatGPT precise location. Obviously, if you to navigate somewhere, people are still going to use Google Maps.
Yeah.
So as far as navigation is concerned, as far as accurate business hours, because once again, the precise location on ChatGPT is going to rely on a website or Facebook or something to have accurate hours of opening. Whereas on your Google business profile, you know, we've just had Easter, it was Good Friday, were you closed, were you not? Google sends out those messages to your Google business profile. And actually, if you don't enable all those type of things on public holidays and everything, that is you know, it shows an engagement and active, proactive accuracy about your data. So obviously all our clients, we always send out, are you open on Good Friday? Have you got different Easter hours? All those sort of things. We always adjust it accordingly. ChatGPT doesn't seem to be able to provide accuracy for business hours and obviously, and navigation, obviously. So people will be using both. It's like everything now. Searchers are using multiple platforms to find everything. So you got to satisfy it all, which isn't much help, is it? To business owners, busy business owners, but yeah.
I guess it's they're closing the gap, ChatGPT, for local search, but you know, we all play in both playing fields, Google and ChatGPT. So you know, it's important to just keep optimizing, keep updating, you know, get that brand visible on as many platforms as you can, so you can show up in any search. So
I mean, I've obviously got my precise location enabled, and it's quite interesting as far as it's not as precise as Google. Whereas, you know, with the pin and the map, Google knows exactly. Whereas ChatGPT location knew me fairly closely, but it was more still general within a suburb. As opposed to like a street address with Google, where you know, knows exactly where I'm sitting almost. But as far as local searches and looking for cafes and things like that, it still works because it doesn't need to know exactly where I am. So knowing the postcode or where I am generally can still work out 15 minutes away or things like that. So yes. So it's not Google search versus ChatGPT local search. It's both.
So what is one thing that a business owner needs to walk away and do after listening to this?
The first thing I'd do is I would open your Google business profile on one side of the screen and your website on the other, and have them exactly the same as each other. Make sure your address is exactly the same. Your operating hours are exactly the same. All those attributes that are in Google Business Profile, and they're there for a reason, every single one, mirror them on your website. On the contact page or the about page or the footer or the home page, whatever, every single one. If you've got enabled, you know, there's attributes like women-led, wheelchair access, credit cards, al fresco, it depends on what category you got, mirror it on your website. So have them side by side, and it's a once off, and as you add things to your Google Business Profile and, you know, new features come out, add it to your website.
I'll tell this to everyone, to mirror the Google Business Profile just like your website, and that's probably one of the most important things that you can do.
And it'd be interesting to see whether they do enable this precise location. I mean, they probably won't even know about it anyways, unless they're listening to this, whether they want to, but whether it's a privacy concern or whether ChatGPT will end up having the default is with the precise on. And then that will make local really interesting.
So another juicy update when it comes to AI and local search. Thanks, Alison. It's been great chatting once again. I hope some business owners are getting some value. I know other people are taking up your offer on your free audit, which is great. Listen to the next little bit for that audit introduction and the QR code for that download. Thank you once again, Alison. I appreciate your time, and we will be back next week for another episode.
Good one. Okay, cheers.
See ya.
Bye.